Today we are in Virginia Beach, Virginia, and we are speaking with Chance Wilson. And I have to tell you, Chance, coming to Virginia Beach, the last place I thought I would find myself would be in here talking about television. So tell everybody what your passion is.
My passion is what I do, which I'm the director of Greater 24 Positive World Network. And I like waking up in the morning, coming to the office, and making the network grow.
And it's all about positivity, right?
Yes, it is one of the first networks that the primary focus is all positive. So we're talking positive television show, publishing, mobile applications, social networks, pretty much the whole gambit.
How did this start for you? I mean, you know, you and I share this passion for positivity, but how did this happen for you?
I was actually down in Florida on another business project, and that meeting went very well. And the person made a suggestion and say, well, is this project going to go international? And I said, no, you know, it's a local project I was working on at the time. And on our way back, it did get us thinking and say, we've never tried to do anything that was international or bigger than our immediate area. And we said, if we do anything, it would have to be something that is amazing. And we said, okay, what could we do? We have a solution to change the world. And we said, what if we can simplify it where everyone can understand it? Every culture, just every locale can get it. And it's self-improvement and community involvement. And if you did that every single day, the world would be better. And we said, no, the world would be greater. And that's how we got Greater 24, is doing, you know, one of those two things every day, because you can't self-improve and it doesn't involve the community at some point, and you can't get involved with the community without personally self-improving.
Have you always had this desire to reach out to people, reach out to the community, be positive? Like, has this always been part of your person, or is this something, and the reason why I ask this is because, you know, my audience is listening and their goal is to try to enrich their lives, right? So they're hearing what you're doing, that you had this idea and you're making things happen, things that are so exciting. So was this something you've always seen in yourself or something you saw later?
I didn't really connect with the community at all in my career. Pretty much, if it wasn't for Greater 24, there were some other previous projects before that introduced me to the community, but I've always been willing to help someone. That was always there. I think as a kid, you know, even breaking up fights, or, you know, making sure that the bully didn't mess with the little kid in 5th grade. So I've always been big in trying to help someone out. I think I never thought about building a system behind how to help not one person, but multiple people. So when it came to Greater 24, that was an introduction into, here's a system that can not only help the immediate community, but can help communities locally, you know, other cities, and eventually around the world.
And you were already in the entertainment field, right? What were you doing then?
Yeah, I started off in business before I was an entrepreneur as a entertainment manager, and my client was a musician. And, you know, we dealt with a lot of the big companies, Universal, Motown, but I was also at the same time dabbling in the film industry, shopping scripts for investors, which was an amazing opportunity to be on both. Because I think when you say you're in entertainment, the thought is you have some type of performer, and the type of performer, you know, dancing and singing. I actually had a musician. So this musician, very well known, knew a lot of the major key players in the industry. So the people I had a chance to meet first time as a manager were some of the biggest names in the industry. And that made me nervous, you know, to jump in and start talking with that caliber of person. But when you realize everyone has to breathe, everyone has to take the same sip of water to sustain themselves, you kind of bring things down a bit. But then you do want to make sure whatever you bring to someone's table, that it's highly relevant, so you don't waste their time.
You know, something that I'm really picking up from you also is how everything that you've done in your life has converged now to what you're doing in your own business here. And that's something else I always try to point out to my listeners too, you know, to say, the reality is that even that little job, you know, that you did when you were in high school maybe, and then these other jobs where you're working for other people, you're meeting people, you're getting experience and skills, and you're building your own passion, which ended up being this for you. But that had to be a really big jump to go from working for other people to saying, I'm going to create this network. So what kind of hesitations or challenges did you have doing that?
Well, I've been in business in a project development company for 13 years, and Greater 24 has been established for about 2. And so the project development company that I run built Greater 24 from the ground floor up. So making the transition to go over into entrepreneurship, I guess without trying to be too motivation driven, it's just logic. So there really is no such thing as true security, because let's say if I give you $1 million right now, but you can't budget well, you lose the $1 million in a week. So $1 million wasn't enough for you. So I would have to give you $50 million. So even though you're very careless in money, it'll work out for the rest of your life. So you pretty much have to look at, okay, money's going to come and go. And you just have to now decide, how are you going to make that money? Are you going to make it at a 9 to 5? And that may work for you, and that's great. But if you want more flexibility of thought, if you want to be able to have a creative idea one night and be able to implement that the next morning and then see the fruit of that, and I think that's what a lot of people don't have an opportunity to do, whether they work a 9 to 5 or not. A lot of people have great ideas, but so many people just don't take the first little idea, run it to 1, 2 levels, look at it, and just sit there and just look at it. Like, don't try to take over the world, and you're not going to make $1 billion, but just look at that was your idea. And I think if ideas help people, or if they fill a need in someone else's life, I think you're drawn more to purpose. So if you happen to have ideas and those ideas can marry with a purpose, then you have enough drive to become an entrepreneur. I think if you become an entrepreneur for the wrong reasons and you're doing it just based on money, I don't think you'll ever be relevant. So you could be very important but not relevant. So I think the older we all become, we figure out it's not enough money. Even if you're making great money, for some reasons, it just doesn't have the impact it used to. Paris doesn't look like it used to. The new cars don't feel like they used to, because cars and even locations can't fulfill helping that person to the left or right of you. When we're human, there's male and females on this planet. That's about it. So we have brothers and sisters, no matter how you look at it. And if you do something for someone, for some reason, it resonates with you physically, mentally, like your whole body lights up. So if you can have a great idea and you can relate that to something that helps someone else, I think you're going to be lit up for the rest of your career.
And what I hear you saying is that emotional connection to what you're doing and to other people who it's impacting.
Oh, you have to have an emotional connection. If it's just about money, and there's nothing wrong with that, depends on how deep you go into it. But if it's just about money, that's fine. But when it helps someone else, like, give you a perfect example. We received a call from a Chamber of Commerce in Carolina of a young child that was battling, I believe it was stage 4 at the time, but he had previous cancers before. So they had to make the decision, I believe his parents made the decision to take him off the medicine. So it's kind of inevitable that he's going to pass away. And they were doing a fundraiser. And they said, is there anything that Greater 24 can do? And Greater 24 is not a fundraising engine or platform. But we met with the development team and we said, we have to do something. And I remember the first call I made, the company said, we can give you a discount to help the young boy with the service. And that just rubbed me the wrong way. This kid is on his last legs and you can discount me something? Really? So that in turn fueled me to go to the team and say, you know what? We have to think of this totally different. We have to do this to prove to ourselves what we're about. So when we hear something like this, what we do in the next 7 days will say, this is what this person really stands for. And we placed the goal, and with 7 days, we blew the goal out the water. And when we went down to hand the money to the president, it was just a feeling of, you can move something. Not everything will pause. Not everything will stop. We came down as a collective. And I never had that at a 9 to 5. I can't. So if I had a 9 to 5 that gave me that feeling, or maybe I need to work for Red Cross or something. If I had worked for something like that, maybe I would get it. But that feeling said there's so much of a lack of leaders, and I wasn't just looking at myself as a leader, but anyone that jumped on board and made a call were just elements of leadership coming together, and that's what this country, this world needs. And you're fortunate if you can get a taste of that. You know, you have to really appreciate it. And unfortunately, the young kid passed away. And but now I have the memory that we did something about it.
Well, and I think that spirit that you're talking about, and you totally lit up talking about it, I think that spirit is what's behind Greater 24. What do you think you've learned about yourself through this new endeavor, though?
That there's so much work I have to do, that you really have to gain a strength that is only going to come from working with people. It's not a course or a diet pill or something that can help you be better. You're only going to get better dealing with people. So you almost have to throw yourself into the challenge in order to get what you need to beat the challenge. But you can't plan it. You can't overly think it. You can't maneuver your way around it. If you really want to get good, if you really want to be a legend, you have to go where the legends go, and that's amongst the people. So every time I'm around somebody, I learn something new, feel something different, think a different way, in ways that a job would never dare to challenge me. That's what people are for.
You're so passionate about what you're doing, and I feel it from you, and I see how it's impacted your life. What kind of advice would you give my audience on pursuing passions?
You do your life, you do your parents, you do your son, your daughter a disservice. When you have a passion, you have a dream, you owe that passion. It was implanted in you for a reason. It chose you for a reason. So how dare you think about it? You don't have a right to do that. It's bigger than you. That's why when things happen, you can't explain it. It's something bigger than you. So how dare you look something bigger than you that's been given to you, entrusted to you, and you not even investigate it? It's not going to say you're always going to be success. Success varies by the person you talk to. It's all about, did you dare to go out and grab what was yours because it was probably meant for someone else? So just do it.
I love what you're about so much. I really do. Can you give everybody your contact information so they can check out Greater 24 or contact you? Or?
Sure. Subscribe to the network. You can go to greater24.com. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We just started a new YouTube channel from some of the new television shows that we're producing, and that's on television in this market. You'll be able to check it out in other markets. You can download our app just going to your mobile app store and just searching for Greater 24, or you'll see Greater 24 Positive World Network. And if you have any questions, just reach out. But just don't. The fear is normal. I think that's what also makes us human, is the fear. Because if we didn't have fear, everyone would do something. So you have everything you need, just the way you are, to achieve whatever you want. Just don't be nervous to do it, because I tell people, if you look at the time that the earth has been created, I think it was 16 billion years or something like that. If you look at the average span of a person, let's say it's 80 years. I don't even know what the calculation or comparison of that time is to the total time of this planet. So this is just a short vacation. So what you do on this vacation, how you wear those sandals, how you look out at that water, how you play with that sand within your fingers, is going to be, how your story is going to be told. So just make it a great one.
And I talk to you, 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 and we love, and we hate, and we demonstrate, we try to relate. This is my breakthrough. Whoa. Said now, this is my breakthrough. Whoa. Oh man, this is my breakthrough.